Okay. All right. So I'm pretty sure we're live. All right. Welcome, you guys. Hey, Dean. Dean made it today. Good deal. Thanks for joining us. Well, first off, my name is Jesse. I'm with Decker Truck Line. You're on our page, so I figured you knew that, or on our channel, I should say. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about our Smart Drive, or Smartway, excuse me, on our trucks. Yes, Smart Drive has some bearing on it because we'll dive deep into surface level, I guess I should say, on Smartway and what that's all about, what it means to Decker, and we'll kind of go from there. But thank you for joining us. We do these live Q&As every week, so it's an opportunity for you to ask your questions, for us to answer it. You see Anna's here as well. Hello, Miss Anna. So she's manning the chat. If you have questions and you're wondering about specific positions, then I highly suggest you put either your city and state or your zip code in there so that we can answer those questions specific to your area. And if you have experience or wondering what your pay is and whatnot, probably a pretty good idea to put your amount of experience in there as well. That way we're actually giving you the full details, right? Well, hello, Miss Lisa. Good to have you. All right, so shall we talk? First off, we are super duper going to rage about our team for Smart Drive. So I don't know how much you guys know about, I keep saying Smart Drive. This is going to be a tough one for me. But, hey Ken, Austin, huh? Oh, wow. So I don't know how much you guys know about the Smartway system, but Smartway is really, it's a way to, it's an organization, I guess, to help reduce the fuel consumption and cut down on emissions, and it is quite a group. And if you missed out on last week's newsletter that came out, then you might have missed that we received the Smartway Excellence Award that was given out. It's awarded to the top percentage of those who are the most efficient with their improving their freight efficiencies and contributing to the clean air, basically. So yes, like I said, emissions is a big one, whether it's for the supply chain or you've got logistics and carriers as well. So shippers, logistics, carriers, all of those are. That's weird that rain. Something's up. Okay, so anyways, that's all part of the Smartway. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and brag about the being in the top 2% of the companies that the organizations that have participated in the Smartway. And it's not a small feat, by the way. I do have to admit that there are over 3,700 carriers, logistics companies, shippers that are all part of that Smartway system or Smartway group. Yes. Ken, hello. On my way to Canada, he says. Dean says, is it the first time we've got it? I know we've been awarded and been part of the partnership for a while, but this is, to the best of my knowledge, this is the first time that we've been awarded the Smartway at this level. So again, huge kudos to those who were involved in it. I don't know if you saw the picture here just a second ago. There we go. So in the black shirt, that's Tim Burns. You see Janelle Sorensen, and then you see Brad Beatty over there well, he's on my right hand side. I don't know if he's on your right hand or not, but yeah, they're all manning together to make that work. The 2021 awards ceremony, yeah, easy for you to say. The 2021 Smartway Excellence Awards ceremony is on the 27th of the month. It'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So if you guys want to be part of that, there is a way to register if you go onto the Smartway website and check that out. But they'll have some keynote remarks. They'll touch on what the Smartway system, the Smartway program is. And like I said, it's reducing the fuel consumption, improving efficiencies and emissions, all that with the EPA and stuff. So we have we've been able to help cut on some of those costs with some of our new equipment, with the equipment that we have. Sometimes we're asked, with where we're fueling and cutting back on idle time and having the APU units on the trucks, and topics like that are all part of how we can be better and excel, I guess, within the Smartway system. So definitely our equipment and the processes that we have an effect on that. So we like to improve on that. And yeah, total brag worthy. I think there's over 2,500 trucking companies that are part of it. And that's I think 1 million trucks overall, and we're pretty darn close to it, if not 1 million trucks, and billions and billions, tens of billions of miles ran under the Smart Drive or Smartway. I'm gonna have a hard time. I told you, it's a tough one. So yeah, huge kudos to those who are involved. But again, I should probably bring up the snippet here. It says that means that the Decker professional drivers played a major role in improving the challenges associated with the supply chain sustainability. We have our Smart Drive bonus, we have our scorecard bonus, and part of our scorecard bonus is the fuel compliance and idle time or fuel efficiency. So that is part of it. And a lot of you have probably seen that the bonus information has come out on your TransFlow app. We'll talk more about that next week and kind of dive deep, in, as always, into our bonuses, and of course give the shout out to where the shout outs are for perfect scores. I'm hoping there's quite a few perfect scores, but I haven't seen that information yet. So I'll be privy to that later this week. We'll be excited to see it. And our goal, of course, for the year is to hit 90,000 in monthly bonuses. Just the monthly bonuses. This isn't counting the referral bonus. It's not counting the sign-on bonus or quarterly bonus. It is only counting the Smart Drive and scorecard bonus. So we'd love to see over 90K. Why? Because it is our 90th anniversary this year. So huge numbers. Like to brag about it. And we should, right? When it's something like that, you definitely want to brag. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what we've got available here at Decker as we're waiting for some of these questions coming in. I do want to answer some lease purchase questions here in just a few minutes. I've had several within the YouTube chat and Messenger coming in, as well as on Facebook here recently. So if you guys are wanting to reach out to a recruiter, you can call this number, 888-668-0698. You can also apply directly online, and once we get your application, we'll review it, make sure that you qualify, give you a call, go through it with you, and all of that good stuff. Get you situated, get things rocking and rolling for you. So 888-668-0698 is the telephone number to reach one of the recruiters. If you're asking about lease purchase, yes, you can talk to any of the recruiters about the lease purchase program. Honestly, you can talk to any of them about any of the positions available. So just letting us know where you're located at will get the ball rolling for you. Okay, so we have a local-ish? We have a very regional dedicated position. It's our Cargill position. We have one driver needed for this one. It's a hopper position that would run from Fort Dodge, Iowa to Blair, Nebraska. That's home daily. It starts at 11 a.m. and it's roughly an 8-hour shift. So Fort Dodge, Iowa, 11 a.m. to Blair, Nebraska, and back. Sometimes you'll have a back call, sometimes you won't have a back call. But please reach out to one of our recruiters for details on that. It's 888-668-0698. That way we can make sure that you qualify for it. Qualifications. You do need to have a minimum of 1 month of experience in order to train, or have been a recent graduate of a PTDI certified school. That's for training for most of our positions. This dedicated position this grain position, we do ask that you have a minimum of 3 months of experience, because it's a one position available. We need to make sure that it's full, that it's running. The shift itself, the pay per mile it's not per mile, it's pay per shift. And for the week, it's $225 a day for the week, like Monday through Friday. On Saturday and Sunday, it's $250 for that time period. Okay, so it's $225 a week. $225 a day during the week, and then it's $250 on the weekend. This is how it works. To kind of give you an idea of the schedule, it's a rotating schedule. It's 2 days on, and then 2 days off, and then it's 3 days on, followed by 3 days off. And then it reverts back to, and again, this is the moving schedule, 2 days on, 2 days off, 3 days on, 3 days off. So basically every other weekend is a 3-day weekend. But in reverse, every other weekend is a working weekend. And again, the Saturday, Sunday of that is $250 for that pay period, the 11 a.m. shift, instead of that $225 that you normally would see. All right, one driver. I have one position. It does require the experience for that reason. Okay. All right. Also requiring experience is our local Des Moines driver. Now this is a kind of a shuttle position. It starts at around 7 a.m. It's 7 to 5 p.m. for the most part. Could be a little bit longer some days, but for the most part it's 7 to 5. And you'll need a hazmat. You'll need a tanker endorsement, hazmat tanker endorsement before you hire on. So you do need to have those ahead of time. You could be running flatbed. You could be running refrigerated tanker, like I mentioned. So we need to make sure that you meet those qualifications in order to pull all of those. It is a local position, as far out as possibly 175, so less than 200 miles, and then getting you back home. So as long as we can get you back home within the day, most of it's going to be shuttling trailers and whatnot. It is hourly pay, so reach out to one of the recruiters on that one, 888-668-0698 for more details. Thanks, Courtney. All right. We also have, I'm rattling off a couple of positions that we have that are more dedicated, more regional. We're going to kind of hit on those, and then I'll open it up to some of our more open positions, or more over-the-road opportunities. So, like I said, we have that hopper position. We have the, which is grain. And then we have the Des Moines local position as well. Both that hopper position and this shuttle position, this Des Moines position, is fairly local, at least home daily. And then we have a dedicated position I'm switching gears here. I'm moving down south to the Jacksonville, Florida area. This is home every week. So this one's a little bit further out. You do need to live within the Jacksonville area or south of there, over to Tampa. So if you have questions on whether or not you're in the hiring area, reach out to the recruiter so we know for sure we're answering your questions based off of where you live and the availability. Very important. But it's home weekly. You're running a lot of central and southern Florida. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second. Central and southern Florida is what you're running. And flatbed requires, at the very minimum, 6 months of flatbed experience. Okay. Now, we can work with a year of tractor trailer experience and then train you for that. But with this being just one position, I only need one driver for this position. I wouldn't imagine we would wait for training on that one. Could be wrong, but we are looking for experience on that one. Nashville dedicated is another one we definitely want experience on. The Nashville, when I'm saying Nashville, I'm talking about Nashville, Arkansas, Texarkana area. This one is a very busy position as well. The drivers that are on this one right now are just rocking it. They do a phenomenal job. The time management is something they are very, very good at. It's essential. AC is the one that's running the board on that one, and he's taking good care of you, making sure those miles are there, your miles are strong. If you manage your time well, you will excel at this position. This is a great opportunity. The pay per mile is going to be based off of your experience, and again, we require at least 6 months of flatbed experience for this one. We're looking forward to more options here for you. And then we have, sorry, my phone is ringing off the hook, and I apologize for those who are calling that I'm not getting. For some reason, it's just not letting them know that I'm on the other line. Okay. Anyways, the Nashville, that was the Nashville. What else do we have? We've got Nashville, Arkansas, dedicated. We've got the Jacksonville. And then we have our short haul, which you guys are probably familiar with. Our short haul is based out of the Fort Dodge area, Sioux City, Iowa, Omaha, Des Moines, and then straight up north to Minneapolis from Fort Dodge and Des Moines. Hey, Aim. So yeah, those positions are available. That short haul is based off of your experience as well. We can train for that position. And if you live in those areas that I mentioned, like I said, straight north of Fort Dodge or Des Moines, Iowa, up to Minneapolis, or the Sioux City area, or Omaha area. I'm trying to think of where else I'm missing. But if you live in any of those locations or along the route up to Minneapolis, then we can get you home daily. We also have the option, or you have the option, to stay out, a day or two at a time, in addition to getting home on the weekends. The reason we give you that option to get home every other day or every 2 days or whatever, instead of coming home daily, is because your miles will be stronger staying out longer in that short haul division. You're not cutting as many loads short. It's doable. So if you want to get home on a daily basis, no worries. It's doable. You do have a guarantee of $1,000 a week gross, but you'll see a significant difference staying out a little bit of it at a time. So you definitely see that increase. Amy says, been stopped at the light listening as much as I can. Thank you. Thanks, Amy. I appreciate it. So yes, if you have more details on that, just let us know. Or if you need more details on that, just let us know. With the guarantee of at least 1,000, we've got that 888-668-0698. Anna found the emojis. All of the telephones available. I love it. Anna, you do a better job of making use of emojis than I do. I love it. All right. Let's talk about some of those positions, and see, there you go. Some of the positions that we have available that are open and have more training opportunities for those of you who are interested in the training. So training, we do allow that, or we do offer it, but remember, the training is available to those who already have obtained their Class A CDL. We do not have an in-company school that would train you. We work with schools, the PTDI certified schools. ICC is a perfect example. Iowa Community College in Fort Dodge is a perfect example of ones we've worked with. The Tech in Missoula, there's a lot of community colleges that we work with, and they offer 160. Most of the community colleges actually offer over 200 hours of course time and then driving time on top of that. So most of those we work with, they're fantastic. They really give you that hands-on training and the book training as well, so that you're familiar with all aspects of it. If you have questions on whether or not your school will qualify, the first thing that I need to know is whether or not it's at least 160 hours. That's the most important. And yes, we do. So because we don't have the in-company school, but we do work with some of those schools, we do offer reimbursements. Now that reimbursement is actually paying to you as the driver, the one who purchased the course, wherever that course might be, whether it was TDI, if it was Roadmaster or ICC, wherever it is, and you purchased it outright instead of another company purchasing it on your behalf, then the reimbursement is available to you. It starts after 90 days, and it pays you $200 a month until the cap. The cap is $6,000. So if your schooling, your education was only $5,500, then it'll cap out at $5,500 for you. So it's based off of the cost of your schooling for that. Cool? All right, so remember, it's after 90 days. It pays directly to you as a reimbursement, so it's not taxed, at $200 a month until it's paid off. Or caps at 8, or at 6,000. All right? Okay, cool. And remember this number that keeps flashing through? That's when you want to call to talk to one of the recruiters to get more details. Excellent. Okay. Once you have graduated from a PTDI certified school or have at least 1 month of tractor trailer experience, maybe doing some e-logs, paper logs, whatever, but have at least 1 month of tractor trailer experience, then we can train in our van division, our refrigerated division, and our Midwest flatbed. Okay, so at that point we can train. Now, if you're looking to get into the over-the-road flatbed, we're going to need at least 6 months of flatbed experience for that, or at least a year of tractor trailer experience. Why? Because with flatbed and load securement, we want to make sure that you're very familiar with it. Big safety thing, so we want to make sure that we're covering all grounds. And when you're running over the road, you're too far from the Fort Dodge terminal to make sure that you're getting the proper training that you need for it. So right there in the Midwest, we can train you for our flatbed and, of course, refrigerated and dry van as well. Okay. But remember, at least a month of experience, tractor trailer experience, or a PTDI certified school, a recent graduate of that. So that's, I know, I'm beating a dead horse, but you're getting it. You're following. So that's when we can start the training. The training itself is going to consist of 1 week of orientation. I know you're an experienced driver. I thought I heard 2.5 days. That's correct. But for students new to the industry, just coming aboard to Decker, it's a week-long orientation. So you experienced drivers, you heard right. However, backpedaling a little bit to the inexperienced drivers, it is a week-long orientation. Okay? All right, cool. What else can I tell you? Week-long orientation, we pay you $1,000 for completing that orientation. It breaks up a little bit. So you've got $500 we've got $500 the week of orientation, and we've got $500 the following week. That's how it breaks up. That way you don't have a gap or a hole in your pay coming in. Okay. Now, that's just for orientation, which is going to consist of the stuff you do before you come to orientation, your physical, your drug test, the urinalysis. You'll have the online orientation, which is our Luma training. It's roughly about 4 hours of a video followed by a couple of questions, another video, and a couple of questions, and it continues on until you've completed that package. And then we also have, of course, the clearinghouse. It'll take just 30 seconds for you to sign in, as long as you know your password. Just a second to sign in, fill out, release the information. It'll autofill for you, and then once you release the information, then that's it. It's about a 2-minute process altogether, so it's super quick. But your online orientation and the clearinghouse, that's all pretty much one. And then you'll have your physical and your urinalysis. So those are the things that have to be done before you come into orientation. You do get a $100 bonus for taking the time to do that ahead of time. And then, so it's $1,100 total in that case. And then when you come to orientation, you'll have your hair follicle test. You'll have your driving test. You'll have, by the way, the hair follicle test goes back roughly about 90 days, for those of you who are wondering. So roughly 90 days. The driving test, You'll meet with your driver manager. You'll go over a lot of the basic information. Actually, as a student, you probably won't meet with your driver manager quite yet because there's a few things that you're going to be going through before you meet up with your DM. So you'll go through load securement for those in the Midwest flatbed. You'll go over the reefer unit, the load locks and everything for those who are doing refrigerated and dry van. And then going, of course, over the e-logs, getting familiar with the GeoTab system. The GeoTab transfo system is the system we use for your e-logs, communicating with your driver manager, getting updates on your scorecard and your Smart Drive bonuses, and those numbers that go along with them, your load information. So all of that, your fuel compliance, your fuel safety. So OS&D, every time if you need that, you'll have access through that through the GeoTab unit. It's all right there. It's a tablet. What do I do with mine? It's a tablet and just super easy, to maneuver around. It might take a little bit of getting used to, but once you get used to it, you'll like it. So, so that you'll go through that. And once the week is over, once you've completed the 1 week of orientation, then you're going to have 1 week of on-site or on-the-lot training. So right there in Fort Dodge. So you'll have the training in Fort Dodge. It's, like I said, it's a week long. Now you get $1,000 for orientation. You get $700 a week while you're training. $700 while you're in-house. And remember, we'll be taking care of your hotel and your meals while you're at orientation. We'll also be taking care of it when you're doing the on-the-job or on-site training. We'll be taking care of your hotel and your meals while you're there. Okay? All right. Also, when speaking of covering your hotel and meals, you will be receiving a what do I want to call it? Basically, it's a recognition. You're realizing, hey, Decker's invested this much money into me. It's a repayment agreement. I'm so sorry. I'm just having a brain fart. So you'll have a repayment agreement that you'll sign when you come in for orientation. All that's saying is, hey, this is what Decker has invested in me for orientation. I realize that if I were to leave before 6 months, that every month $100 will come off, and at the end, I will. I know. At the end of 6 months, it'll wash clean, so there will not be an additional expense. But if I was to leave before the 6 month, then I would have a portion that I'd be responsible for. But there you go. That's what it is. That's on your end, Michael. My end is still working, it looks like. Okay, so that's the repayment agreement. That's the orientation process. Followed by the week of on-site training, followed by 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks of actual training in the trainer truck out on the road. So you'll be running, for the most part, you'll be running the Midwest. Now you could be running coast to coast, but most of the runs that we're training for or training with are within the Midwest, whether it's flatbed or refrigerated or dry van, so that you're right there in the midst of everything. At that point, you're still making $700 a week. Once you've completed all of the training, so it's roughly about 4 weeks total between orientation, on-site training, and then of course the training with the trainer in the truck. Then we have that as well. Okay. Lisa says, I can hear you. I think we're just getting slammed there. Thanks, Anna. Once you've completed that, then you'll be going into your own truck. You'll do a walkthrough with Katie of your truck. She'll make sure that you know how to use the Epic View. You guys, our trucks are totally well equipped. And for those of you, what I should be doing is showing. What I should be doing is, we're getting spammed over here. Sorry, they're coming in pretty quick. What I should be doing is showing a picture of Lisa's truck. Lisa, I know I'm calling you out on this one. She sent a picture. I'm just going to bring it up here because I was blown away. I'm like, that is like so clean. I know, it's terrible. but I was blown away by that. Okay, let's see what I put it. Going through pictures that I've saved of Lisa is like a chore. Do you want to know why? Because she has a gazillion of them, for those of you who didn't know that. Interior, there we go. Boom! Okay. This is a good looking truck. Right? Oh my goodness. Look how clean that is. That blows my mind. Okay, anyways, our trucks are like very well equipped. They have pretty much everything you can think of on it. She calls her truck, it's this way. There we go. She calls her truck Sexy Lexi. You gotta keep it fresh, she says. All right, so the trucks have pretty much everything you can imagine in them. You have the APU unit. You have the bunk heater. By the way, side note, APUs, when you guys are going on home time, make sure you put your APUs in standby, because it stinks to have to go and, well, one, it stinks if literally stinks if you forget to put it in standby and leave food in your refrigerator on your home time and it rots. That's not good. So make sure you clean out your refrigerator when you're on home time and put your APU unit in standby. Other reason, if the truck dies, if the APU dies, then the truck has to be jump started. And we all know how expensive a trip from somebody coming in to jumpstart a tow company or whatever, whoever it might be, might have to cost. So that sucker can add up. You don't want that. But besides how expensive it is, it cuts into your time, which can be significant. So protect yourself. Turn that APU in standby. Okay, side note over. Now let's go back. So the trucks have pretty much everything you can imagine in them. They have the APUs, the bunk heaters, the CB units. Yeah, CB. Navigation, that's through the ALK system, which is part of the Geotab in the TransFlow system. We have the Epic View satellite TV. So that satellite programming is 100 plus channels, includes HBO and Showtime and Cinemax and Sunday Ticket. P.S. For those of you wondering about the Sunday Ticket, make sure that you, if you're not getting it, that you are doing a channel scan, both for your local and for the Epic View if you're having any issues. And I've noticed undoing the wires in the back and then plugging those back in or messing those back in will actually help to reset it enough. So unplugging everything and plugging it back in. It's a reset. It's a reboot. We all know and are always frustrated that we have to do it. We do it with the TransFlow system. We do it with our cell phones. We do it with our computers. But for some reason, that works. It's the simplest thing, but yet it works. Okay. So, along with the Epic View, there's a 32-inch television that's in there. There's a microwave that's in there, and a refrigerator, and of course the inverter, which is, I know with the Peterbilt, it's behind the microwave up top. So these are very well equipped trucks. Most of them are double bunk. The only ones that aren't are the ones that actually are being replaced this year. And huge shout out, by the way, to all of those involved, Mal and Lisa. And we'll have Mal and Lisa, who are responsible for getting the new trucks in and arranging everything to get our drivers switched out of one truck into the other one. Yeah, huge shout out. Doing awesome. Kudos to you. Jason wanted to make sure that everybody knew the work that has gone into it to get everybody upgraded. What else? These trucks are mostly 579 Peterbilts, some 780 Volvos, and some Freightliner Evolutions. So there's a variety of them, but they're very well maintained, very well equipped. If you want more details, actually after the live, you can check out some of our YouTube page here, our YouTube channel, because there is a lot of information about the trucks and the amenities in the trucks. So follow us on TikTok to see some of those, follow us on YouTube, and subscribe that way, and you'll be able to investigate all of that good stuff. Now, I know that there are a few people that aren't on today's live, and in case you didn't know why, we have been nominated for Best Fleet of 2021. Pretty big deal. I'm excited about that. So I thank those who had nominated us. Donnie Neely for sure. And yeah, so pretty big deal. I thank you very much for that. It's very exciting, but I know they're having a webinar right now and going over some of the details for those who have been nominated this year. So I know we're missing quite a few of you guys, but that's all right. We'll do what we can. Matt asks, lease option or just company? We have both, but it does depend on where you live. So now that we've been talking a little bit about the company position and all of that, I'm going to switch gears. Let's talk about the lease purchase. I've been getting a lot of questions on that lately. So I want to kind of answer some of those details. Lisa says, I'm super freaking excited about the best fleet. Me too. I got that email and I swear I went ballistic. I started sending it out. Did you see this? Did you see this? It's pretty exciting for a small fleet like ours to be in. So pretty exciting. Matt says he's in Ohio. So Ohio, I've got. Ohio, we can do lease purchase. That's fantastic. So we can totally make that work. We have refrigerated options and we have flatbed options for you. So it just depends on, which one you're more interested in doing, but we have both. With the lease purchase, the orientation is going to be very similar. I do want to say that I personally do not recommend somebody who is new to the industry to get into the lease purchase. Now, that being said, if you have a great business sense, you manage your time well, and you adjust quickly, then it might be an option for you. But I would recommend starting as a company driver, getting familiar with how we dispatch you, getting your paperwork in, our policies and procedures, getting used to that before jumping into the lease purchase, because the lease purchase is obviously, it's a business and you want to succeed at it. But in order to do so, you have to have a good understanding of how the systems and processes work, right? Yeah. So having a good understanding of that before you jump into the business is going to just propel you forward. And that's what we want to see. We want to see you do well. Too much talking. I need something to drink. Okay. So the lease purchase program, it pays out 72% of the load plus the fuel surcharge. If you are doing the refrigerated, so Matt, if you're interested in the refrigerated side, know that 90% of the fuel surcharge will go to you on all dispatch miles loaded and empty. The other 10%, since we take care of the reefer fuel, so Decker takes care of the reefer fuel, we take care of, there's no trailer expense on your part. There's no trailer rental, nothing like that. So that 10% of the fuel surcharge will go to Decker to cover those additional expenses. The other 90%, it goes directly to you, and that's on all dispatch miles, loaded and empty, and you'll get that each and every week. That pays out weekly. Its settlements are weekly, whether you're a company or owner operator or lease purchase. And Lisa, I want that sticker too. Okay, he says I'm running reefer right now. Perfect. So, however, if you're on a dry load, and that happens every once in a while, Lisa's actually in our dry van, so that's cheating to go straight to her. But if you're if you're looking at a dry van load, then you're going to get 100% of the fuel surcharge, because that other 10% is obviously not going to Decker because we don't have that fuel expense on that particular load. But it's just on that particular load. Don't really have lease purchase option out of the dry van, or at least I don't know anybody that's on that. Probably could work it, but we just don't have it. Yeah, so what else am I missing here for the refrigerated? 72% of the load, so of the revenue is what you'll be receiving, the line haul revenue, and then the fuel surcharge on top of that. We also pay out 72% of the accessory pay, which is usually kind of lumped into that revenue there. Plus, you have, in addition to the load amount that you're getting, you have the opportunity to get the monthly scorecard, which is one of our bonuses. It's an extra 3 cents a mile for you. Or the Smart Drive bonus, which is also a monthly bonus. That would be an extra penny per mile. The Smart Drive bonus, it is an extra penny. You do need to have a Smart Drive score of 20 or below for that. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Smart Drive is a whole safety unit. It includes both the inward and outward facing event recorders, and it has all this, the speed gauge, the following distance, the lane departure, all of that. And having 20 or below will earn you that extra penny per mile. I want to say that we paid out. I'm going to say the wrong amount. I was trying to think of how much we paid out last month in our owner-operator lease purchase for the Smart Drive. I want to say 11,000, but I don't think that's right. I'll have to double check. We also have the quarterly bonus, the quarterly sign-on bonus. That's 5,000 for your first year, but it pays out quarterly, so it's $1,250 each quarter. However, if you're running over 25,000 miles for the quarter, you'll get an extra 5 cents a mile on all those miles over it. And then we have, the referral bonus, some of those extra bonuses, extra pays and stuff. Unloading will be reimbursed 100% of the limit. Yep. Yeah. And 72%, I believe, Anna, 72% of the accessory. I believe. All right, so if you're going to come in straight into the lease purchase program, there is a $1,500 down payment on the truck. So you have $1,500 down. Now, you can choose a truck that's like a 2019 or 2020, but most of those who are coming in on the lease purchase choose one of the newer trucks. So it's really based off of what's available and what you're wanting. Because I know talking to some people, their preference is a used truck because it cuts down on how long their lease is. It's a 4-year lease term for a brand new truck. It's a 3-year lease term for a truck that's a year old. It's a 2-year lease term for a truck that's 2 years old. You get it, right? So it's $650 a week for the truck payment. And then the length of term, it depends on the year of the truck. And then at the end, you'll have a balloon payment. Now, the balloon payment can be traded for an extended 2 years of the lease purchase agreement. But instead of $650 a week for the payment, it would be $665 a week for those last 2 years. And then by the time you finish with those 2 years, you'll have your truck paid off, and you don't have that balloon payment left. Right? However, it is a walkaway lease, and if you chose to, at the end of 4 years, you decided, I'm just going to upgrade to a new truck, then that's an option. You can totally do that. You can also just walk away, or you can continue on with that lease. For the main part, I should say, the main part of the lease, so this is not including the balloon payment part if you decided to extend the lease. But for the first 4 years for a new truck, first 3 years for a truck that's a year old, it's 9 cents a mile for one of the expenses. Because I'm just gonna kind of go through the expenses here. $1,500 down payment. You have $650 a week for the truck payment. Then you have the 9 cents a mile maintenance service fee. Now that maintenance service fee is going to cover everything that the warranty doesn't cover. So let's see, like fuel filters, batteries, oil changes. What am I missing? Things like that, like tires, all those type of things. We do have a Volvo. We have a 780 Volvo. And then, like I said, 579 Pete's, and then some Freightliner Cascadia Evolutions. So it all depends on what's on the lot now. Okay, cool. Just making sure. I wasn't sure. Yeah. So the maintenance pool, or the maintenance service fee, is actually 9 cents a mile the first 4 years, or depending on your length of term. And then once you switch over to, like, if you decided to extend the lease to cover your balloon payment, then it's an extra 12 cents a mile. Sorry, it takes a minute to calculate here. So it goes up from 9 cents a mile to 12 cents a mile. But remember, by that time, because the truck is going to be over 5 years old or over 4 years old, and the miles that you put on it are expected to be over 500,000, at that point, your warranty will be up. So you want to increase that maintenance service fee to 12 cents a mile instead of the 9 cents a mile to cover any additional expenses that might come about. You want that safety net, that escrow built in. And then you also have a security escrow of $50, excuse me. That $50 will go up to $2,500 to have in that security escrow. You'll be responsible for DEF, for your fuel. You have your owner-operator insurance, of course. That's roughly around a little less than $100. You have about 11, it's like $10.58 a week for the $22.90 is how that breaks up. And then your base plates and permits run about $50 a week as well. So we'll be taking that out for you. Tolls are roughly around $200 a month, and we take them out weekly, so it's not such a hard hit. And so we do about $50 a week. Now, that being said, if you end up running some toll roads that because normally we're routing you around a lot of those toll roads because we have pre-pass, easy pass, K-pass. They'll cover a lot of that stuff. But if you end up going to some of those tolls that are more expensive because those are the routes that you chose, then you will have an additional amount on your tolls, and we'll be notifying you that. So every once in a while we see that you just chose a different route. Then instead of having roughly about $200, and that can change, from month to month, but instead of having, $200 worth of tolls, you end up having $300 or something, then we'll be reaching out to you and saying, hey, you know what, you went on this route and this route, it affected your tolls, and so you had that increase. But you have this business manager that is here to help and answer questions. Both Patrice and Jason are there to answer all those questions. Patrice works with our Smart Drive as well, and he's also been an owner-operator of multiple trucks for many years, so he has a great understanding of that and fuel efficiency and fuel compliance and all that kind of stuff. So you'll have the fuel tax. You'll have, if you want the Epic View Satellite TV, which we offer to all of our company drivers, if you wanted to take advantage of that, then you can do so. It's $16 a week, $16 a week. And then you have the ATBS as well. One truck wash a month, exactly. All right. Okay, let's see if I'm missing anything else. Okay, excellent. So we're sitting good. I think I answered those questions. Matt, did you have any other questions on the lease purchase program and what's available? For those of you wondering, we do offer the pay per mile option as well, but most people tend to like the percentage. But I know there's several, Tim, that like the pay per mile. So it's $1.05 a mile plus the fuel surcharge on all dispatch miles loaded and empty. You can run the Midwest, the Midwest definitely has some high paying loads around Iowa, Illinois, a lot of those meat loads. So you can run those, or you can run coast to coast. A lot of you who like those longer lengths of haul, the coast to coast is the best one for you. So you just let us know which one is your preferred. And yes, good point. So Anna put on here too. The out time for the lease purchase, it does depend on the areas that you're running. If you live in Iowa, we could probably get you home on a weekly basis. And if you live in parts of Illinois, probably same thing. If you live out in Montana or if you live in Nevada, you're probably looking at about 2 to 3. Nevada's a bad example, I'm sorry, because we don't offer lease purchase in Nevada. Or say Arizona instead. You live in Arizona, you're probably looking at about a 2 to 3 week out time period at a time, and then home for 2 to 3 days. Sorry, I'm looking behind my computer out the window. Squirrel. Yeah. So yeah, it's about 2 to 3 weeks out in the over the road division, and then we figure for every day you're out, or every 7 days you're out, it's a day and a half home time. But it depends on the individual. I mean, this is lease purchase. So if you're going to take extra home time, that's fine. Just make sure you're running it as a business. And because you still have that expense. You still have that expense each week. And you don't want to not be able to cover those. The money's coming in. And just like driving, because it's mileage for the, because you've got your surcharge at least on the mileage, even though you're paying percentage. 1 week, or even on the percentage itself, 1 week will be really strong, but when you go home, that's going to affect obviously the revenue for that week. That makes perfect sense. That's okay. And that's why we try to have you kind of straddle the pay period so it doesn't hit you as hard, so you still have solid income coming in. But if you don't have that load completed by Sunday night at 10 p.m. when the paperwork needs to be in, then it won't go on, or it'll end up going on the following weeks. And that can, throw off your budgeting. So be aware of your budget. That's why ATBS is a good company to work with. I'm sure there's other companies out there. So if you have someone who does your books, awesome. Make sure that they are helping you to manage your money. Again, it's a business. Manage your money so that you can cover your bills and your expenses with ease, with peace of mind. All right. Anything else that I'm missing? Flatbed. For those of you listening or that are looking for the flatbed division, it pays 72% of the load. It's 100% of the fuel surcharge because there's no reefer fuel to that one. So it's 100% of the fuel surcharge. And then, what else was I going with on that one? It's $675 a week for the truck payment. So again, if you're going to extend it to another 2 years to cover the balloon payment, then it's going to go from $675 to $690 a week. Just on the last 2 years, not on the first 4. That's if you do the full one on a new truck. But that kind of gives you a big picture. Anna. You kill me. That's too funny. Anna's over here. Saying, how did I get that wrong? I'm going to put myself in a timeout. Well, then I've been in a timeout all day then. Right? Right. If you guys have questions, if you want more details or maybe some information sent to you, reach out to one of the recruiters so that we can get that over to you. And you have it. It's nice to kind of have the information in front of you so you can read it through. I mean, you're hearing it, you're getting it from us, but at the same time, just seeing it on paper is can be very handy. And we can send you that information. We can also give you a good idea of how to manage the expenses and stuff. Kind of give you a spreadsheet to plug in a few numbers and see what'll work for you, how it is. Anyways, if you guys have any questions, let me know. 888-668-0698 can get you more details on that. Yes, you do need to be, I'm reading Anna's comments, you do need to be at least 23 years of age in order to drive. Actually, 21, now that I'm saying that out loud, 21, we can work with 21. But to be an owner-operator lease purchase, I definitely suggest that you have experience driving over the road, managing your time, successful experience. If you're coming from another company, and as an example, if you're coming from another company and you just finished lease purchase and you didn't come out with a truck and you were upside down in payments and equipment, which could very well have been the fact that the equipment was subpar and the maintenance program that they provided you with was inadequate and that the pay that they were getting was crummy, those are definitely factors, okay? And I'm not dismissing those. However, if you came from a lease purchase program that was not successful for you, I highly suggest you go straight into the company position with us instead of going into the lease purchase right away. Because even though that you can be financially successful in the lease purchase program, you want to get the wheels turning. You want to get the rhythm of the business with Decker, because we're a different company than company B or C or whoever it was that you were with. We are a different company. How we run, how we manage our time, how we work with you on things is going to be different. Our maintenance program, our equipment, we consider ourselves an elite company. We need to take care of you that way. How they took care of you is different. However, it is a business. That one was a business. This one is a business. We need to make sure that the miles are there, the freight is there, the time that you need home, it's all going to work out in your favor, that your idle time and your fuel compliance are good, because I'm telling you now, idle time and fuel compliance will make or break you. I do get excited about lease purchase, just a little bit. It's exciting because you can make a lot of money on it. But at the same time, you can do really well here at Decker. Our pay per mile as a company driver, right, Lisa? Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Yeah, you can earn good money. All right. It is 1:01. I am being told that I have exceeded my allotted time. So I guess I need to return some phone calls and get some of those calls back and answer those questions. Idle will make or break 100%. Idle will make or break for a company driver on a bonus, right? Yeah, so our scorecard, and I know we'll talk about this next week, but those of you who are struggling, we have the scorecard bonus. The scorecard bonus for a company driver can get you an extra 4 cents a mile. You get the Smart Drive bonus along with it. That's an extra 5 cents a mile on all of the miles that you completed for the month. It can make a big difference. It can be an extra $5,000 a year. Dean, I stole that from you, by the way. He gives the calculations, and it's so handy. But yeah, I mean, you could make some good money with that. But that's just the first part, because honestly, there's like stepping stones. There are stepping stones. You have the scorecard and the Smart Drive bonus, which can get you, it's not necessarily in blood there, but it can get you up to the driver of the month. Driver of the month can get you up to driver of the year. Driver of the year is a $3,000 prize per division. Driver of the year can get you to grand champion. Grand champion, $15,000 cash. Boom. That's my mic drop. Here's my mic. Just kidding. It's not the same. Okay, anyways. Yeah, $15,000 in cash, grand champion. Love it. So if you want to work your way on up there, both Dean and Lisa, who are in the chat right now, have done a fantastic job of maintaining great scorecards, and as well as Smart Drive. Love to see them. Idle time, fuel compliance are huge in that scorecard. Big deal. And as a lease purchase driver, it's not in your scorecard bonus. However, it's separate because it'll make or break you. So know it, do it. Make sure you have a good understanding of it. But either way, if you have more questions, reach out to us, 888-668-0698. And before I leave, I'm going to brag one more time about our Smartway. See, said it right that time. Our Smartway award, which is the top 2%. So kudos to Brad and Tim and Janelle, who got us across the threshold in the top 2% of the carriers. It's fantastic, you guys. October 27th, that's when the award is. The Smartway Excellence Award will be presented, and heck of a bragging material. Not only Best Fleet nomination, but also the Best Smartway Award. I think we're making some progress. We are dang rights if we aren't driven to be the best, right? That's exactly right. Driven to be the best. Okay, I'm going to let you guys go because I will talk your ear off. Have a wonderful rest of your week into the rest of Tuesday and in the afternoon. Be safe And if you need anything, make sure that you reach out to us. If you need anything and we're on the other line, make sure you leave a voicemail so that I can get back to you right away, or your driver manager or whoever it is. So, all right, awesome. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Be safe.